Angeba Sojola here. In this video, we'll be particularly looking at one of the most critical devices that you can find in the hydrogen economy. This device is basically known as a fuel cell, right? Now, a fuel cell is fundamentally an electrochemical device that converts chemical energy, right, into electrical energy. It does this through two means, right? Fuel, which is fundamentally hydrogen, right? And then oxidizing agent, which in this case is oxygen, right? So with these two available at you, you can literally produce electricity and water, right, as a byproduct. Now, when we speak of a cell, right, we speak of fundamentally a device that stores energy and releases it when you need it, right? It is a storage device that you can use to release energy as and when you need it, right? Now, when we speak of fuel cells, there are about six types of fuel cells that you can find in the market, right? But these six types of fuel cells are classified into three groups, right? These groups, right, are basically use temperature as a means to classify them, right? Specifically operating temperature. Now, when we look at a low temperature fuel cell, right, we are fundamentally looking at a fuel cell that has operating temperatures from about 60 degrees to about 80 degrees Celsius, right? Now, these type of fuel cells are basically known as the alkaline fuel cell, right, and the PME. Now, the alkaline fuel cell fundamentally uses hydrogen as its fuel, right? Which can be found in the used as an anode gas, right? Now, the way this alkaline battery works is fundamentally uses an electrolyte, right? That is basically a potassium hydroxide that is mixed with water, right? Now, their operating temperature is between 60 degrees and 80 degrees, right? They work at an efficiency of about 60% to about 70%, right? The alkaline fuel cell was the fuel cell that was used in the first space mission, right? To the moon, right? To fundamentally supply electricity to the aircraft, right? And water, right? Because when you take hydrogen and oxygen and pass it through a fuel cell, your products that come out on the other side are water, right, as a byproduct, and electricity. Now, number two, the second fuel cell that is within the low temperature uh, group, right, is known as a PME, right, a proton exchange membrane, right. This fuel cell also fundamentally uses hydrogen as an anode gas, right, as a fuel, right, and then they are fundamentally use an electrolyte that is known as a solid polymer, and it uses a platinum catalyst, right? So the operating temperature for this PME fuel cell is about 80 degrees Celsius, right? And this type of fuel cell has an efficiency of about 50 to about 70%, right? This one is fundamentally used for transportation, right? The alkaline battery is used was the first one being used in space for space applications, right? It's also used in military applications. It's also used in as backup power, right, for maybe a municipality or a small company, right? And then the PME which is the polymer exchange membrane, right? Fuel cell is fundamentally used for transportation, right? Now, these are the two that when we speak of low temperature fuel cells, we are fundamentally speaking of these two, the alkaline and the PME.